Hello and welcome everyone to another weekly commentary from StashAway, again with our Chief Investment Officer, Freddy Lim. Hey, Freddy.
Hi there.
Good to see you again over the video. I know I'm missing you. Seeing you in person. So hopefully we get to do this again soon. But in the meantime, we are coming live to you from our homes. And today we have a couple nice topics to talk about. Again, obviously, lots of developments on a daily basis. But there's a couple topics that Freddy wanted to talk about with everyone. And we also got another couple of wonderful questions from the audience. So again, keep those questions coming. If you have any, Freddy and I will always pick them back up. So leave them in the box below, and one of us will find them, and then we'll answer them next week. But Freddy, let's get started with some market updates, right? There is a lot going on. The Fed's big program, I know, is one thing, and it's starting to take hold, right? Markets have been responding quite positively. Yesterday, again, was a very good start, right, to the week.
Yes, as you knew, we started the earnings season expecting poor results, and JP Morgan and a couple of other companies' earnings were in expectation bad, right? But the move in the market were very muted, so that can be taken as a good sign. But there's also a lot of talk in town about the market hitting a resistance point and is unable to break new highs. That is also true. So in a way, again, we're in this new stalemate between the bull and the bears. But let's talk about the Feds. The $2.3 trillion of QE-like programs, they are a lot larger than it seems. For one, they are bigger than the 2008 global financial crisis with what they have done. And this one is pure direct financing, right? Directly lending to small, medium enterprises, directly lending to state governments, directly buying asset-backed securities, buying loans from like commercial papers and corporate notes, right? So this is a QE-like program, quantitative easing program. And the way to think about it is not to think about a number as $2.3 trillion. For when the central bank conducts such programs, there's a money multiplier effect. As you know, our banking system is a fractional one. If you have $100 being pumped by the central bank into the banking system, the banking system only needs to hold 10% of the $100 in the deposits, right, for their capital requirement. And they can choose to loan out the other 90. In the real world, they're not going to loan out the 90 because they do have risk management or risk aversion concerns. But the money will multiply. And in the US at the moment, the velocity of money in terms of M1 money supply, which includes notes and currencies and time deposits, is about 5.6 times. And this particular measure, M1 velocity of money, affects short-term transactions and consumption patterns. And this is a very important one for fighting the lockdown effect of the COVID-19. And so the $2.3 trillion over 6 months or a year could compound to be 5.6 times more. Let me do the math. 5.6 times 2.3 is almost $12.8 trillion in cumulative impact on the financial markets, right? So this is sizable. The US economy per annum produces $19.5 trillion in annual GDP. So this is slightly more than 6 months, nearly 7 months of lockdown equivalent of loss of outputs. So this is huge, and notwithstanding the government stimulus that's coming in. So,
yeah, big numbers there, and I think this is really what's holding things up right now as well, right? And for the recovery, quite important to move through and up afterwards. What about Donald Trump? I think currently this weekend and early this week, right? He started a fight with everyone pretty much, and he is all over the place, it seems, at this point in time, right? Maybe you can put people a little bit, get them up to speed on what's happening there and what you kind of think is the outcome of that, especially now that, even Barack Obama endorsed Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders got in line. I think it's heating up now, right? It's going to be very quick until November.
Well, he's lost the election. If it's still held in November this year, the people are not looking for a president who's blaming everybody else but himself, right? He's pick fights with state governors over who has the ultimate authority to reopen the economy. But constitutionally, it is the state governments that has the implementation rights. And in reality, different states will have different situation with the virus and containment, and they will have their own ground-up view on how they want to open up in stages and in relation. And they may even put up border enforcement between states just to keep things under control, right? So this is constitutionally not in his prerogative, and he's wrong about that. He's also picked fights this morning with the World Health Organization. I think he's going to withhold funding for the WHO, claiming that they have not done a good job, and also that they are working more with the Chinese, and why are they taking money from the US? So there's been a lot of childish play that's not going to help. So I will end it here because it's not worth mentioning more.
Yeah, I think a big turnaround, but yes, I do agree with you. There are lots to come on that front, especially now that he's trying to position himself for the election even more so, right? I heard he's putting now his signature on all the $1,200 checks that are being sent out as well, which was it's a first that a president is on the signature on those checks. But anyways, thanks, Freddy, for these updates. I think super interesting, especially with the velocity of money and explaining that. Let's go to one. Well, it's actually two questions, but we can kind of almost combine it, right? With the it came from Ritz from Malaysia actually, and he's asking a couple of things, and they're all resulting about the 6-month loan moratorium that was imposed by central bank, Bank Negara, Malaysia. One is it good mid to long term? Taking that that loan moratorium as a person probably, but then also what does it mean for the country? And then second of all, for people unable to still pay their mortgage afterwards, right? Because they lost their job, they haven't found one. Isn't that really, really bad, for the long term?
Okay, in summary, the moratorium stops all payments, just defers it. It doesn't even stop the accrual of the interest. And so for loans, for leaving the mortgages aside, you still will incur those numbers, and you just don't have to pay it now because you may have difficulties. You're not working, you may not be getting paid. Also, this impact is actually to prevent technical defaults in the markets, because technical default meaning people are just technically unable to pay right now. We're not even able to process payment, not going out, not having paychecks. So it's a way to contain credit default rates in the economy. But it does at the expense, in a way, the banks do have to pay for it in terms of lost time value of interest, time value of money, right? So it's a small number to lose, and overall, in the grand scheme, just kicking the can down the road. Now, with respect to home loans, it's more interesting because, as you know, every month you do your mortgage payments, a part of it goes to interest, a part of it goes to reducing the principal balance of the loan, right? And one question that's remained to be clarified by the BNM is that since payment has not been made to reduce the principal, right? Would the interest be calculated on the same principal today, since there's no repayment? So interest will be on a higher principal, or is it going to be on the reducing principal balance? Right? So this technically is not answered. I think we will see clarification soon. But again, deferment for 6 months is, in the grand scheme of things, for a 30-year loan, it's not going to matter that much, right? So overall, it doesn't really change anything. It's just a technical stop, prevention of technical defaults. It doesn't change the economics. It doesn't change the fact that you're liable. You still have to pay them back later. What if after the lockdown you can't find a job, your employer is under the water, and you're still liable to pay them, but you can't, right? So those things are not really resolved. So
they're not resolved, but at least, it seems, at least for people for now, cash flow is king, right? So if they can keep some of their cash flow or cash in the bank, right, to hoard that a little bit and then slowly pay it back over time. Like you said, it's in a grand scheme of things from the long-term loan, it's not that much, right? So
yeah, but think about it from a consumer perspective, right? I haven't paid for 6 months, and now I resume payment, and we unfreeze, and we're going to go back to work. How do I pay for that 6 months? Is it going to be amortized, average out the remaining life of the loan, or do I have to front load them or pay them in one lump? Or those things remain unanswered. I think we need more clarification to evaluate its impact. It's too early to tell.
No, thank you very much, Freddy. I hope, Ritz, that will answer your question. If you do have any follow-up questions, happy for you to put them down in the comment box, and we'll get to them next week. Thank you, Freddy. We have a couple announcements in terms of live webinars. So on April 28th in Singapore, we're going to have a live webinar. It's called Investing for Women. Even if you're not a woman, you can happily attend and listen to us speak about investing. So this is April 28th. You can sign up on the links are also down below in the show notes and also on our website. In Malaysia, on April 22nd, we have a live webinar. It's called How to Invest the Right Way with ETFs. So you learn all about investing into ETFs, even if you want to do it ourselves or you want to use StashAway to do that. April 22nd for Malaysia. Again, sign up through the comment box, the link in the comment box below, or go to our Malaysia StashAway website. That's it for this week. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Leave your feedback and questions below, and I will see you, Freddy, on the screen next week again. Otherwise, everyone else, have a wonderful rest of your week. Ciao.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified whenever we have new content out for you. Also, don't forget to download the StashAway app. It's available in the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. So you can start on your financial journey right now.